Hi there, Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com. Welcome to this week's Connection with Intention. If you haven't been here before, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's always a pleasure for me to be able to connect with you in this way, and I'm grateful that you've taken the time out of your day to be here with me. It's such a gift and such a blessing to be able to do this with you. So thank you for being here. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com. I'm a psychic and angel card reader, and I practice a variety of different energy healing modalities, including Reiki and body code. And so it's really important for me to help and support others in their healing, in their growing, and in their learning journeys. So that's a little bit about me. On the Connection with Intention show, we have kind of three different segments. The first, which we'll be moving into in a minute, is kind of an energetic check-in to see what's happening, what's going on. We'll move into the Choose Your Adventure crystal reading, where I'll put up your crystal choices. You can choose a crystal to represent the message that you're going to receive about a question or questions that you're asking. And in this way, we can make sure that everybody gets a message. And then at the end, what we'll do is we'll do mini psychic readings to those of you who are on the call, or pardon me, on the live with me. As you can see on the bottom, I'm asking that you not ask your questions just yet. And the reason for that is it's not fair to the people who come in a little bit later. So once the questions are opened up, I'll let you know. And when you do ask your questions, please be really specific. If you're asking for a general reading or for a card pull, I'm going to ask you to ask a question and I'm going to skip over you. And with the way that it tends to work, if I've gotten to your question at the beginning, I probably won't get back to the question after. So make sure that you ask your best question first, right off the hop, all in one comment, because I don't see subsequent comments, even if you're replying to the comment that you've asked. So with that kind of housekeeping out of the way, let's get started. Actually, I'm just going to quickly pop over to our comments because I see that we've had some comments come in. Drew, yes, I'm so glad to see you. And Noor, hello, thanks for joining us. And I know that that's Margaret. Welcome. Thanks for popping on this evening. And Steve, I'm so glad to see you. I know that it's getting late where you are. And Tanya, hello, thanks for joining us. And Andrea, it's so good to see you. Deanna, thank you. Oh, and oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you mentioned the angel light because I was going to have to replace her bulb, but it looks like she's come back on. So she's been out for at least the last couple of weeks. So Margaret, I'm glad that you noticed her. Deanna, welcome. And Tracy, hello. Tamra, Miss Tam, hi. It's so good to see you. And JC, I'm so glad that you were able to join us this week. It's awesome to see you. Before I forget, I'm going to throw up this QR code. Mary Catherine, hi. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, that's going to work. So two really quick things before I get into the messages for this week. I've got two different email signups that I'd like to encourage you to check out. So the first one is for the Connection with Intention live show. There are so many different places that I need to post information about when this is going to be on, and with the algorithms, with social media, sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. So in August, I started sending out an email newsletter. It's really super simple. I include in it the links on YouTube and Facebook, maybe a little bit of a talk about what we're going to talk about, and then the crystals for the Choose Your Adventure crystal reading that we're going to do. And that's it. There's no pressure, but then the links to come and join for the show are right there for you. You don't have to look for it, and you know that it's going to happen. So if you hop over to my website, heavenlymessenger.com, and you can do the little scanny doohickey thing here, then you can receive that. And I send it out. I try to send it out the day before. Today I didn't get it out until this afternoon, but then you know where it is and you've got the links and it's there. The second part is actually a little bit sad. So, if you've been with me for a while, you know for the last 10 years or so, I send out Season's Blessings cards every year. And it includes like a Season's Blessings card with what I think is kind of a nice little blessing. I love sending them out. And then I always include a couple of different coupons. And on the back of the coupon, it's got like inspirational messages and imagery for the coming year. And I have so loved sending them out. But there are a couple of reasons. The unpredictability with Canada Post right now, they've been striking. Last year, they were striking during November and December. So, like, the cards going out was a mess. And there are a couple of other reasons as well. And so I'm really sad that I won't be doing that this year. But what I am going to do is I'm going to send out an email Season's Blessing. But on top of that, so on top of the promotion that goes out for December and January, um, I'm also going to be doing something or some things, I don't know exactly what yet, that are just thank yous for being here and being with me. So I don't know if we're going to do some guided meditation, if we're going to do some like mini Zoom sessions where you can come on and we can like close out 2025 and manifest into 2026, welcoming it. I love doing that for myself, and I'm kind of leaning towards that as being one of the things. But I'd love to hear from you. What would you like to see? So if you head over to my website, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I literally just finished getting this this form up on my website, and it is not pretty. And I'm not entirely sure that it works completely well, but it's there. And I would love to hear from you. I have a love-dislike relationship with email newsletters. I find that they actually really stress me out. I don't really enjoy being on them. I don't really enjoy sending them out. So trust me when I tell you that your email and your inbox is sacred to me, and I'm not going to fill it up with a whole pile of useless crap. And of course, you're more than welcome to unsubscribe at any time without any hurt feelings, because I understand everybody and their dog has an email newsletter now that they're sending out. And I don't want to be that person. I just want to share with you what's coming up. And social media hasn't been as reliable as it has been in the past. So that's my workaround. Okay, so those things we've talked about. Let me just take a look and see if I've missed anybody. Tracy, hello, it's great to see you. Oh, yes, and Tam, and Mary Catherine, hello. Kevin, happy Tuesday night. I'm so grateful that you're here too. And Becky, hello. Catherine, hi. Maxine, hello. It's good to see you. Melissa, it's been so long. Thank you for joining us. I know Tamara is saying, I love those. I know, I love them too. It made me so happy to send them out. You have no idea. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do it next year, but this year it's a no-go. And Bobby, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So there's so much that's going on energetically. And as I was sitting preparing to join you guys this evening, I'm like, I don't even know what I want to talk about. So we're going to go to the cards, and I'm going to ask for a message for all of us. And I'm going to ask, what is it that we need to know right now? And of course, as soon as I ask, I start hearing compassion. We need to focus on compassion for ourselves first and foremost, because if we aren't offering ourselves compassion, there isn't compassion available to offer to other people. And we can get really hard when we don't offer compassion to ourselves as well. We can become very jaded, and it can be really difficult to see other people suffering because we're suffering. So I'm hearing that we need to offer ourselves compassion so that we can offer compassion to the others around us. Because a lot of people are suffering and hurting and are experiencing challenge in one form or another right now. So I've just pulled 3 cards from us. I'm using the Archangel Oracle card deck. The first card that we have is the Healthy Lifestyle card. Oops, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. This is Archangel Raphael's card, or one of them. And his message is eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. And, I kind of see this card as being an encouragement to get back to basics. What is it that you need to support yourself to make sure that you're okay, so that when you show up in your day-to-day life, you have as many of the resources as you need and hopefully you have some extra to share. And if you don't have any extra, then hopefully you have enough to support yourself. And if you don't have enough to support yourself, then hopefully you're connecting with people who do have a little extra to share, because that's how we all support each other. So do what you need to support yourself and get back to basics. So that's food and sleep. Maybe it's creative time or social time or just kind of downtime. Maybe it's getting back to meditation or exercise or yoga. So there are so many different things that we can do to support ourselves in our own balance and our own well-being. And the more that we do that, the more that we support the whole, whether it's just showing up as our best selves or because it means that we have some extra that we can use to help and support others. The next card that we have is Archangel Uriel's card, and his message is, you know what to do. Trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. So this is a really strong intuition card. And what it's saying is, hey, like, you know what's going on. You're understanding the messages that are coming through. You know in your heart what it is you need to do. And so a lot of this message is encouragement towards empowerment, personal empowerment. What is coming up for you, and take action on that. Sometimes it can be hard to hear those messages because we've got so much external stuff that's going on that's maybe pulling us in different directions. So in addition to being an empowerment card, this is also a card that's reminding us to slow down, to take time for ourselves so that we can hear ourselves, so we can hear those inner messages. And when we hear them, we take action on them, because that's really important. And our last card, oh, I love this. And I know that there are a couple of people on here who are absolutely going to love this message too. And some who are like, oh God, Erin, not again. The creative writing card is coming up. This is Archangel Gabrielle, and her message is, make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen an article or book. So Archangel Gabrielle is all about communication, expression, getting out there, getting our thoughts and and ideas out there. And maybe it's just for us. Maybe it's just for us to get out, to process, to have a better understanding of what it is that we know that we need to focus on. It can be a really strong confirmation for us, but it can also be a creative outlet to make sure that we're expressing ourselves to share with others. And although the message here is about writing, we can also be communicative and creative in a lot of other ways. So maybe we draw or paint, maybe we dance or move. There are so many different ways that we can be creative. And so one of the messages that's coming up here is, allow yourself to be creative in a way that fuels you and fires you and offers healing and support. So thank you guys for being here with me with those messages. It's really exciting, and I'm kind of grateful that I didn't know what I wanted to talk about with you this evening, because it gave us the opportunity to go to the cards. Awesome. Hold on. Tamara says she's laughing as I'm eating a chocolate bar. Absolutely. You know what? Chocolate's a fruit too. Do it. And Maxine says, I think I have every one of your cards and personal messages. I know how hard you worked on those. Glad you freed up some time for yourself, but we'll miss them for sure. Yeah. You know what? They used to take me weeks. It was more than 40 hours to send out all of the cards that I would send, not including the creation. And I hesitate to say this, but I was talking to ChatGPT tonight, and I'm like, hey, so, this is the situation that I'm in. What can I do? And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but ChatGPT is like, well, what if you create cards that people can print, or that you could use digitally in like your manifestation boards? Because that's one of the ways that people would often use them, is they would incorporate them into their vision boards, or they'd put them up in a place where they could see them. I know that there's one person in particular, and she shares a lot of reels on Instagram. And I was going through one of her reels, and like, this was just a couple of weeks ago, and I could see one of the cards from last year was on her mirror as an inspiration. I'm like, so it was a really difficult decision not to send them, because I love doing it, and I know that there are many people who really enjoy receiving them too. So let me know what you would like to receive. Would you like to receive like some digital cards that you can use in your vision boards or that you can print off, because I would so love to share that and create that for you. Avril, hello, it's great to see you. And Mary Catherine, Mary Catherine's one of the ones that I knew would love that creative writing message. And Catherine, you are welcome. I'm so grateful you're here. Andrea, hold on to your question, and same for you, Avril, hold on to your questions, because we're going to move forward to the Choose Your Adventure crystal reading. So let me see if I can get this right. So if you haven't been with us before, or if you don't remember how the Choose Your Adventure crystal reading works, what you'll do is you'll think of your question. And you can think of more than one question. And as you're thinking of your question, ask which crystal will best represent the message that you need to receive this evening. So again, don't put your questions in the comment box, but hold on to them in your heart. So take a moment to breathe, to relax, and ask your question. And if you don't have a specific question that you want to ask, I find what do I need to know is a really great beginner. So what do I need to know in general? Or what do I need to know about a particular circumstance or a situation or a relationship? What do I need to know? And usually we use the Archangel Oracle card deck. But this evening, I feel like we've got some energy moving and shifting. So we're going to use the Magical Mermaids and Dolphins cards. So your options are Angel Aura, Angel Light, and Citrine. So this is our card for Angel Aura. This is our card for Angel Light, and this is our card for Citrine. And I'm hoping that you guys are going to remember, because I always forget. I always give the cards like these purposes, and then partway through I forget what they are. So I hope that you've chosen your crystal. I'm going to take the crystals down now. Probably the techie stuff's been a little bit tricky lately. Oh, good. I thought I'd lost myself. So if you chose the Angel Aura card, your message is wait. Don't rush into action right now. Bide your time for better results. So this wait message could be coming up for a lot of different reasons. It could be, as I said earlier, this is a really big action deck. So there are lots of movement messages. And when this card comes up, it's saying, now isn't the time. The timing isn't right for it. And it could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because you don't have enough information to act upon this situation. It could be that it's not the ideal time. It could be that you're needing to rest, or you need something more, or there's another option or another opportunity that's coming to the forefront that isn't available yet. But the big overall message here is now is not the time to be taking action. So the other aspect of this is that it could be important to take a step back from the situation in some way. So if you contemplate the question that you have I been focusing too much time, energy, or resources on this? Do I feel like I'm spinning my wheels about this circumstance or situation? Is something just not feeling right about it? Then take a step back and focus on other areas. Go back to that initial message, that overall message that we received about getting back to basics and making sure that you're focusing on taking care of yourself first and foremost. So if you chose the Angel Aura card, your message tonight is wait, that there's something more that still needs to come, and rest could also be really helpful. Angel Aura, I don't usually talk too much about the crystals, but I was really guided to talk about them tonight. So Angel Aura is clear quartz crystal that has been bonded with both platinum and silver. I know for sure silver. I think it's platinum. And basically what it does is it creates this beautiful iridescent crystal. And I asked, what are the properties of Angel Aura? And as you may imagine, Angel Aura is really helpful for connecting with angels. So it can help to raise your energy and vibration, to help connect with angels. And it is also really positive for transformation as well. So in addition to those messages, and kind of focusing on one of them that we kind of slipped by, is it could be there's something that's shifting and changing for you, and that maybe the circumstances are right, but you're not quite ready yet. So maybe there's some transformation that's happening, which to me feels like it's doubling down on that message to make sure that you're taking time for you, that you get back to basics and you focus on yourself. So don't rush in just yet. Angelite, I'm pretty sure, yep, was the next crystal. Oh, I love this. Okay, so our message here is alchemy. You have the Midas touch right now, and every project you begin turns to gold. So we're just going to go back to my grade 9 social studies for a moment and talk about the origin of alchemy. So scientists back in, I think, the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, it was quite a while ago, we're trying to take common metals and common substances and turn them into gold. So turn them into things of value. And the reference here for the Midas touch is that I believe Midas was able to touch anything and it would turn into gold. So we're taking things that may not have a lot of value and turning them into things that do have a lot of value. So looking at the alchemy as an overall message, it's saying, hey, you have the opportunity within the situation to take it from something that is maybe not working the way that you want it to, or is maybe kind of fumbling around, like you're not kind of getting into gear with it. And it's saying there's the opportunity to create something that's really beautiful, really magical, really valuable, and worthwhile. And if you're not immediately seeing how that's working, I'd encourage you to take a step back and to meditate, to contemplate, and maybe to brainstorm. And so one of the things with brainstorming is you need to be open to any idea that pops into your head. And in fact, brainstorming is an incredibly valuable tool for anybody who's wanting to develop their claircognizance. Claircognizance means clear knowing, and it's thoughts and ideas that pop into your head. It's one of the 4 primary ways that we receive intuitive messages and information. And one of the reasons that brainstorming works so well is because the whole point is to move into a space of non-judgment, to allow thoughts and ideas to come in and not to just like, oh, that's such a stupid idea, and cross it off. But it's to allow things to roll, to come, to build. So there's also opportunity to develop some intuition in this as well. And who knows, maybe the exercise of looking at the bigger picture and of brainstorming is the magical aspect in this situation for you. Or maybe that's just a fringe benefit that just happens to work out really well because you're allowing yourself to explore it. So if you chose Angelite, alchemy is the word that's coming up for you. It's the message that's come up for you. And with Angelite, again, one of the properties of the crystal is helping with communication, and in particular is helping with communication with your angels. So asking for help and support in seeing and understanding how and where there's value in this circumstance and situation that you've asked about. The last card that we have this evening and the last crystal is citrine. Oh, I love this. And the message is helpful person. Someone wants to help you. Think of whom it might be and initiate contact. And you know what? I have to tell you that this is probably one of the biggest challenges that I've been experiencing for myself, because I keep getting the message, ask for help, allow help. And it is one of the hardest things to do, especially if you are somebody who is accustomed to being independent and accustomed to being able to do it all on your own. So like if you're vibing and resonating with what I've just talked about, the experience that I'm in, know that it's important not only to ask for help, but then also be willing to receive help too. It's kind of a two-way street. Like there are 2 parts to it. But also what this is saying is the circumstance and the situation that you're in is asking you to ask for help. And it's kind of saying that, hey, you might not be able to do this all on your own, or maybe you are able to do it on your own, but the resources that you have to do it would be better served if they were somewhere else. And if you had somebody helping you, this full on that you were putting into this to do it is maybe allowing you to redirect into something else. And it's saying, maybe you need to be able to do more than one thing. But in order to be able to do more than one thing, you need help with this thing that you're asking about. So be open to receiving help. And again, because we're talking with angels and we had so many angel messages coming up earlier, ask your angels for help and support. It could be that you're meant to ask your angels, God, source, universe, ascended masters, guides, whoever, whatever you work with, to ask them for help and support in moving through this situation and moving through this circumstance. It could be that you're being asked to ask for help from the people who are around you, or you're meant to ask for help from your helpers to help provide you with that help that's coming in. And if you're like me, it could be that it's in learning to receive learning to receive the help and support that is being offered. And I have just decided, because it's popped up for me that I needed to do this, that's going to be one of the things that I'm focusing on over this next week, is when help is offered, rather than saying, no, that's okay, I've got it, that I will graciously receive. When you give the gift of giving to somebody else, it's pretty powerful. And that's kind of what help comes down to. If you are a helper or you are a giver, then you'll know how good it feels to help and to give. And when you allow yourself to receive graciously, you give the gift of giving, you give the gift of helping to somebody else. And that's pretty amazing. All right, so let's take a look. Perfect. I'm going to open up the lines now for questions. So before you ask your question, please make sure you're asking a specific question. If you're asking for like general messages, I don't do that. If you're asking for a card to be pulled, I don't do that either. So ask a specific question. If you ask a general question, I'll ask you to ask a specific question, and likely we won't get to your question tonight. So ask your best question, put your best foot forward here. Also, if you want me to use a particular deck for your card, let me know. We've got the blue deck, which is the mermaids and dolphins. Whoops. We have the green deck, which is the messages from your angels. And we have the yellow deck, which is the Archangel Oracle card deck. And before I go to the questions, I know we've got a couple more people who've joined us, so welcome. And I also want to say, if you want to sign up for either of the email newsletters that I mentioned, either for the season's blessings or for the connection with intention reminders, hop over to my website, heavenleemessenger.com. And if I'm super techie, and I am, I'll be able to get that up on there for you. So that's the QR code. And just pay no attention to the housekeeping that needs to be done on my website. Okay. And Margaret saying a digital card sounds like a fantastic idea. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to get on designing a couple cards for you guys, because that's so much fun. And wow, from Catherine. Nikki, hello. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. And angels right back to Catherine. Okay. We've got Ziggy here. Hi, Ziggy. Thanks for joining us. What do you see for me in love life? I get lots of attention online and in person from old friends, but I feel like I was attracting broken people. I was going to say old people for some reason. I'm kind of wanting to clear out. So part of what I'm seeing is that you're the universe is saying, hey, we've got lots of options available to you, but it feels like they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm wanting to go clean slate here. So I'd like to encourage you. You did mention online, and I don't know if that's like online through social media or if that's online through like dating apps or something. But if it is through dating apps, I want to encourage you to take like a break and kind of slough things off, release and clear it out. In fact, I want to encourage you to take a little bit of a break from like looking for romantic partners for a little while, because it feels like there's some kind of older residual energy, and you're still moving up and moving out of that. So give yourself at least a couple of weeks. That's kind of taking us into the middle of November. possibly even into the beginning of December. And it feels like there's just like a switch that happens. It's almost like a light switch flicking on or a light switch flicking off. And there's somebody new, there's something new that's coming. It feels like the people that are kind of popping into your life have shifted. When people are reaching out, especially if you've had connection with them before and they aren't feeling like a good fit for you, make sure that you create the boundary. And so it could be something simple like, hey, thank you very much for your interest. I don't feel the same way, but I wish you the best. Something along those lines, so that you're being really clear that they aren't the person that you're looking for. That sounds a little harsh, but I see you being able to do it in a kind way. And part of what that does is it kind of sends back to universe and it says, hey, like, thank you. I recognize that you're sending this person or this type of person, but that's not really what I'm looking for. And shift things up a little bit. Where are we going to go for you? We're going to go to the Archangel Oracle card deck. So I'm just going to ask, what does Ziggy need to know about their love life and attracting a person that resonates for them? The Passion card has come up. So this is Archangel Haniel. And her message is, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. So this card is saying focus less on what's happening outside of you and focus more on what's happening inside of you. So focus on the things that you enjoy doing, the things that you're passionate about, whether it's in your work or in your hobbies. And that's naturally going to spill over into your love life. When we're engaging with things that we're passionate about, it helps to raise our energy and vibration. And it also helps to raise the energy and vibration of people who are attracted to us, who want to spend time with us. So this card is, I feel is like it's both confirming the fact that your energy has already shifted, but it's also kind of suggesting like maybe there's a little more shift that can happen too. So it could be, I just got like a real estate reminder. When you're on a real estate website and you're looking at properties, you can kind of put in the criteria. And so let's say that you're looking at 500,000, but maybe there's something for 505,000 and you're just kind of missing it. It's not coming up in your search. And like, it feels like that's kind of the tweak that we're in. You're coming up to like a new threshold, a new level. And so the more that you up your energy, the more that the energy is going to be upped for the people who are connecting with you. Ziggy, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening, and I hope you pop back and let us know how your dating life is going. I'm sending lots of romance angels your way too. Awesome. Cassandra, hello. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Margaret saying, love that alchemy card, and the message is awesome. The book, The Alchemist came up for you earlier today too. Cool. I'm not familiar with that book, but if you chose alchemy, so I think that was the Angelite card, maybe also check out the Alchemist book as well. All right, we've got Andrea. Hi, Andrea. Thanks for joining us. Will my man and I get to date sometime soon? Our schedules haven't been working together at the moment, and it's been a little frustrating. Yeah, my mom and his dad have been coming in a lot, encouraging us, trying to be patient. Yes. Yes and no. Yes, definitely be patient. Soon is kind of a relative term, because soon could mean like, is it happening this weekend? I don't think so. But is it happening before the end of 2026, 2025? Yes, it does feel like it is. So I'm kind of coming up with the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's kind of taking us into the middle of November. 11/11, so Remembrance Day, but also the portals with 11/11 with manifestation are coming up. So I wouldn't be surprised if either you're connecting on that day or you're setting a whole pile of intentions. I also see your partner being open to doing some work like this. So it's kind of like, yeah, let's set some intentions, and that can be a lot of different things. And I also recognize that a lot of people see intentions in different ways. So it could be as simple as, together, the two of us are going to set the intention that we're going to get together within the next couple of weeks, even if it's just for coffee or even if it's just for whatever. We're going to make sure that we're spending time with each other because that's important. Whether it's a small amount of time or a big amount of time, the important thing is that there's time that we're spending together. There could also be some manifestation work that you're doing as well. And this may be something you're doing on your own because your guy may or may not be into it. But it could be manifesting all of the different things that you'd like to do with each other. So ice skating just popped into my head. So I'm going to say something that is outdoors and active. Maybe one of the things that you're putting on there. Maybe you're wanting to do some flights or some trips or some little getaways or some bigger getaways. Maybe you just want to get together for a picnic or a dinner in, whatever it is. Create like a manifestation board with all the things that you're wanting to do together. But more important than the doing is how you're wanting to feel while you're doing those things together. Both of you being really present, both physically and also mentally and emotionally, so that you're not distracted thinking about other things. So put the intention into the types of connections that you're looking for. What is important to you when you connect with your partner? Let's take a look at the cards. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins because there's lots of manifesting that's coming up here. Just to make sure, because I've already forgotten, but I think that I mentioned the timeline I was seeing was, oh yes, around 11/11, but also kind of the middle of November was coming up too. And I'm just going to ask, what does Andrea need to know about relationship and partnership? We have the Waves of Prosperity card that's popping up here. New abundance and exciting opportunities wash over you. So obviously, when we think of prosperity and abundance, usually we're thinking about money, financial, and material things. And while this card can certainly speak to that, so it could be speaking to you're going to have the resources that you need, whether it's financial, material, or just time in order to be able to get together. So maybe it means that somebody's taking a bit of time off. Maybe it means that somebody's not needing to pick up an extra shift. Maybe it means that you guys have the time so that other responsibilities or obligations are kind of calming down and it allows your schedule to line up and to meet up. Abundance and prosperity in this type of question can mean a lot of different things. But with this card, it's saying, hey, there's going to be lots of opportunity coming up soon. So don't stress. And again, set your intention to not only the types of ways that you would like to connect, and maybe take a look at what connecting would look like over the next 2 months through the rest of 2025, but also how you feel when you are connecting together. Andrea, it's such a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so grateful that you joined us this evening. Sending big hugs, lots of love, and lots of romance angels your way. Like, ask them for help to clear up your schedule so the two of you can get together more often. Heidi, thanks for joining us. Will I be buying a house next year, and will it be close to my daughter's school? Will she be happy there? Okay, let's take a look. Yes, on the house. March is feeling like it's a really good time. So I want to encourage you to take a look at March, April. And if you aren't finding something in that time, don't worry, because there will be something that's coming up a little bit later. I am still looking, but there's kind of like some ups and downs. And then there's something else that's popping up a little bit later in the year. I want to say like August, September, October, but I'm wanting to really focus on like the spring of 2026. So yes, there is a home purchase that's coming up. I'm also seeing that there's some sort of suite that may be available in it or with it. I'm not exactly sure how that's working, but it feels like there's an option or an opportunity for your daughter to live with you. So either in like the main portion of your home as roommates, or in this secondary suite that's kind of popping up. And it feels like that works out well, because when she's no longer living there, or if she chooses to live with you, then this feels like this ends up being some form of mortgage helper as well. So yes, will you be buying a house next year? Yes. Will it be close to your daughter's school? Given the fact that messages were coming up that she was going to be fairly close, I'm going to say so. They just showed me 45 minutes. that feels like that's really far. That feels like that's quite a commute. I feel like there's something that's closer. I wonder if what's coming up for you in the spring is something that's further out. And even though it works on lots of different levels, you're saying, no, that isn't really what we want. We're looking for something that's closer. And I wonder if that's why a little bit later is popping up. I do see that there is a really strong option and opportunity for you in the spring. So let's set the intention that it's going to be what you are looking for and that you're not needing to compromise on anything. I want to encourage you, if you didn't before, to go back and to look at the question. So only if you don't know what the crystal messages were from the Choose Your Adventure crystal reading, but I'd like to see which of the crystals you choose and which message comes up, because I'm wondering if it's one of them. I'm not going to give it away, but I'm wondering if it's one of them, and that's going to really speak to, it's going to make sense to what you've been asking about. So I pulled a card from you. This is from the Mermaids and Dolphins Oracle card deck. And the message is healing heart. You're a powerful healer. Keep up the great work. Also, when this card comes up, it's encouraging you to make sure that you're taking some time for yourself. And I know that we weren't talking about anything overly emotional or romantic or anything. We're talking about home and where you're going to be. But it also feels like there might be a little bit of heart healing that's coming up with this too. And so part of it may be that when we look at this new space that you're going to be moving to, that there's a shift and change in love life and in romance. And that's going to be part of the contributing factor to where you end up going, to what you are wanting. So as much as possible, focus on some heart healing and some love over the next couple of months to help put you in a really good place to find not only like the best space for you with your daughter, but also the best space for you moving forward in all aspects and all areas of your life. We kind of touched on romance, so making sure that it works for you from a romantic perspective, but it also could mean community, like having lots of really awesome people around who have similar interests that you're able to connect with. And to spend time with and to feel energized by. So there are lots of different aspects to heart healing that are coming up that help to make the next space, the next place that you live, really significant and beautiful. Heidi, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Drew, hi Drew, thanks for joining us. What is Spirit teaching me about leadership, embodiment, and surrender through this season of burnout and recalibration? And how is it shaping me into the leader I'm meant to become for my work and community? Oh, my friend, that is a big question. So immediately the messages around helpful person were what came up. And so I don't know which crystal you chose this evening, but if you chose the citrine crystal, that makes a lot of sense because that's what I'm seeing for you. All of the aspects that you're speaking of feel like you reaching and reaching and reaching. And the message that's coming up is that, yes, there's a lot that you have to share, but in order to be able to share at the level that you want to share, others need to be involved in that. And it's not just you. It's the other partners, the other people that you're working with. It's the other members of your community, because you are focusing too much on up when you need to be focusing more on out, because that's where the support is really coming from in the physical world. The spiritual connections are there. The learning, the healing is there, but the true healing to be able to sustain what you're doing is in the community that you're building. And so learning how to give, but also to receive in ways that allow others to feel like they are part of the process that you're going through, where they are receiving healing, where they are learning. And it's all about working together, and it's less about up or differentiation. And they just kind of popped in the message around humility as well. It's learning to breathe, and it's learning to recognize that through this process, you are human, and that's a really big part of how you are learning to lead and you're learning to share, is in recognizing that you are human. And so that means that you have physical needs. Your body needs sleep, your body needs nutrition, your body needs exercise, and those are as much priority as the other things that are being done. And that, again, it can't only be you. The battery that you have will run dry if you don't feed it, and part of the way you feed it is in community. Let's take a look and see. We're going to go to the big guys. We're checking in with the archangels. What do you need to know? Which part do I want to pull out of there? What do you need to know about becoming the leader that you're meant to be? That is the question that I'm going to pull out of your overall question. Patience. This is Archangel Jophiel, and her message is, your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. So it's interesting because this hadn't come up, but the other aspect that's kind of popping in is that growth can't be rushed. I mean, you can fertilize it. And I mention that only because it's a very gardening-esque message. And I'm hearing that, that's part of the shit that you're dealing with right now. It's the fertilization of the garden, of the growth. Sorry, where was that going? I got so caught up in the fertilizing imagery that I've forgotten where we were going with that. But basically, patience is needed. Oh, yes, that, you can force growth. But if you force growth, it's not something that's is not necessarily sustainable. And that there's importance in the foundation and the stability as you're moving forward. So part of the question, or part of the message that's coming up, is not only in patience, but making sure that you aren't taking on more than you can handle. You aren't building more of the foundation. And that, again, community is there, part of building the foundation with you. I'm a terrible gardener, but again, like, the gardening imagery is so much in this card. And I had a COVID garden back in 2020. And one of the things that I was growing was tomatoes. And what you're supposed to do, especially if the tomatoes are growing in kind of a sheltered area, you need to kind of wiggle the stems a little bit, because when you wiggle the stems, it actually produces a thicker stem, which then supports more growth. It supports more tomatoes, and it means that, like, the plant isn't falling over on itself. And it's kind of like the wind is life that's happening around us that's helping to strengthen that foundation, to strengthen that support. So part of the question that I would ask, that I think you already are asking, is, what is this burnout trying to teach me? Where am I pushing too much? And where is universe trying to push back to me, so that I focus on the growth that I need to create that foundation to sustain what I'm building? Drew, I'm so incredibly excited that you joined us this evening. I hope that you pop back and let us know how it's going. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Miss Tam, hello. I've decided to do tarot readings semi-professionally. Ooh, that's awesome. Is this something I could turn into a business? Need to get out of the rat race. Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look. So this next message comes with not only a song, but a little bit of a dance. So I am both apologizing and saying you're welcome at the same time. So I'm hearing, I'm moving on up and moving on out. Time to break free. Nothing can stop me. Don't worry, I won't quit my day job. You can, but I won't. So yeah, this does feel like this is a really great path and direction for you to start moving into. I'm wanting to encourage you to hold on to the day job for a while, and they're kind of showing me like a year, because it feels like there are things that you're still establishing, things that you're still learning about readings and about clients and clientele, and they're showing me needing to hold on to the stability of the day-to-day job that's like paying the bills and all of those things. But I do see you branching out and building out, and crystals are coming up really strongly for you and around you as well. So I don't know if there's something that you're doing on the side that's either selling crystals or making things with crystals, or in some way incorporating crystals into the readings that you're doing. Possibly like a doing crystal readings, which would be basically becoming really comfortable, not only with the crystals and their properties, but also really comfortable and familiar with the energies of the crystals. And it's kind of like having like a pouch or a bag, similar to the way that people may read runes, where you go in and by feel, you choose crystals. And I would say probably your client would be the one who's choosing the crystals, and that's part of the reading and part of the message. It feels like part of what it's doing is it's opening things up in a pretty significant way. And oh, wow. There might also be a healing component to it. I really want to encourage you to take a look into crystals. So there's some aspect of it that feels like it's kind of vibing for you. And if it isn't yet, start exploring crystals, touching in particular. And I'm really wanting to focus on kind of smaller-ish crystals. Like this size and smaller is kind of what I'm seeing, probably even smaller than this, likely into like tumbled. This is actually a shaped one. It's a heart, if you can see. But yeah, I see you having like a little pouch, and that's part of it. And maybe it's only part of the messages that you're getting, and you're still focusing and relying on tarot. I remember I had a teacher years ago, like we're talking 20 years ago, and one of his teachers said that a true reader can read anything. They can read a banana peel, because what it's doing is it's tweaking your own intuition, your knowing, and your understanding. And so as much as tarot is a really cool tool to use, and I do see you continuing to use it, I feel like you're exploring outside of what that looks like for using your intuition. So I want to encourage you to like branch out, not necessarily right away, but I'm seeing you not only using tarot, I'm seeing you expanding intuition and psychic abilities. But that is so exciting. I'm really happy for you, and I'm really excited to see what you do. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask, what does Miss Tam need to know about, moving into tarot reading practice? I'm hearing 3, 2, 1, which is interesting because that's also a card here. 3, 2, 1. It's kind of like ready, set, go. So I was drawn to pull 2. The first card that we had is the make a decision card. Feeling stuck or indecisive, listen to your intuition and make a decision. And I feel like we've probably talked about this before, but I'm going to mention it for everybody. Oh no, it's not on my website yet. On my old website, which you can actually still get to through my new website. That's kind of a little bit of a mess. I have a blog, and on the blog, there's a post that I call it Trying on a Decision. And it's basically walking you through the steps to trying on a decision using your intuition. It starts by doing a scan of your body and checking to see like what's happening there. So pay particular attention to like your stomach, because our stomach is a really big indicator. Pay attention to how your stomach's feeling. Have you just eaten? Is it feeling heavy? How's your overall mood? Are you feeling good? Do you feel like you could take on the world? Do you feel like you have to go back to bed because you feel like crap? Like, how are you feeling? And this is giving you your baseline. Then make the decision to start this new practice, to devote some time over the next 6 months, next year, to see what you're able to build and see what you're able to create. And then do a check-in again and see, okay, well, how does that feel in my body? If you feel resistance, start asking some questions. So is this resistance coming because it's something that's scary, because it's something new, because maybe it's like taking off the training wheels? Explore where that resistance is coming from. Or is this feeling really good? Like, do I feel like I could take on the world? Does it feel like I'm ready? And so just use that to see what's coming up. The other aspect with this card is the act of not making a decision is not only choosing to stay where you are, but it can also be holding you back in terms of things coming together. So maybe, again, you're going to make the decision that over the next 6 months, or the next year, you're going to devote some energy to building your practice. And so maybe that means you're going to make sure you're taking time for learning. You're going to take time to make sure that you're focusing on being able to maintain yourself because you're going to be supporting other people. Maybe you're going to take a look into like promotion and marketing and where you want to be and how you want to offer your services. And so maybe you're starting to kind of flesh out all of the things that are involved with starting a practice as well as developing and growing. So make a decision about what you want to do, and know that with any decision that you make, if you get into it and you're like, this isn't working, that's okay. But then there's also the opportunity for it to work out really, really well. And that's exciting. The second card that we have is the Divine Magic card. And I love that this card came up for you. Extra magical energy surrounds your situation right now. Expect miracles. So again, like this is total confirmation to definitely be exploring to take that leap, though still hold on to the job. But what this card also does is it amplifies and magnifies the message of the other cards around it. So since we've pulled two, it magnifies this message. So there could be something that's coming up that's saying, hey, you need to start making some choices and some decisions about what this looks like for you in order to be able to start realizing what's there. Because that Divine Magic card is saying, hey, like circumstances and situations are right for you to be stepping into this. Now make sure that you're taking action so that those opportunities aren't slipping away. But Miss Tam, you've got this, and I'm super excited for you. And I hope that you'll pop back and let us know how it's going. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Becky, hello. It's so great to see you. I would like some guidance on what I should put my energy in as far as work and being creative and bringing in more abundance. I feel like a squirrel and practicing patience the best I can. Yeah, absolutely. There has been a lot of patience with where you've been and what you've been doing. So a big part of what I'm seeing is there's a lot of energy that you've been putting out in terms of the things that you've been doing and the things that you've been trying. It feels like part of it has to do. Sorry, I'm getting lots of different messages and imagery that's coming in. So one of the ones is is imagery, and it's taking me to the magician. And what they'll often do is they'll have those poles on stage. They're like 6 feet high, and they'll put a plate on the top of the pole, and they'll get it spinning, and then they'll set up another one, and they'll get it spinning, and they'll get it spinning, and they'll get it spinning, and they'll have like half a dozen plates that are spinning. But eventually they have to start going back to the first plates to start to get them spinning again. And they have to keep going around and doing that because eventually they're going to start to lose momentum because they're over spinning those first plates. And the reason that that imagery and that message is coming up is because you have put lots of different things that are out there, and that there's been a lot that you've been doing to start spinning lots of different plates. And it's like, okay, we need to come back because we need to make sure that we're giving enough attention and resource to the plates that are spinning. Part of what's also coming up with that is making sure that you are grounding in yourself. So when you get a plate and you start it spinning, one of the things that's really important is in your belief that you can create something that is stable, that has enough foundation that it can spin. And you're going to need to spin it for a while until it's fast enough that it can spin on its own before you can go and spin the others. Because if you don't, by the time you get to the second or third one, everything is starting to wobble and it's ready to start falling down. So part of what I'm hearing for you is let go of some of the things that either you aren't passionate about, you aren't interested in, or they aren't bringing back, they aren't kind of coming back to you at the level that you're putting out. So if you've been putting out energy at like 80 units, I couldn't think of the word. If you've been putting out energy at 80 units and you've been doing it for like a year or 2 years and it's just not coming back, it's not coming back at that 80 units yet. Maybe it's kind of dribbling in at 5 or 10. That might be a plate that isn't worth spinning. But maybe you just started another one and it's starting to get some momentum. Then that's something that's worth putting some energy into. So what I would do is I do a check-in. What is not only bringing you passion and bringing you joy that you're able to continue to invest in, that is starting to show something coming back. It feels like, as I said, I feel like we've got lots that are going on. I'm seeing you scaling back to 2 with something that feels like it's part-time. Because if you're dividing yourself too thin, as I said, you aren't going to have enough to hold it. The other thing that I'm seeing is there's a lot that's going out on an energetic level, and we're wanting to ground into the physical reality. So when we do energy healing with body code or with Reiki or whatever, working on an energetic level, it's really important to integrate everything that we've done energetically into the physical body. Grounding is huge and important. Moving it through your body can be, really significant as well. So after you have been doing something that is creative, that's building, I want to encourage you to go out and take a walk, or to do some yoga, or to breathe and meditate, and to set the intention that as you're doing that, everything that is up here that you've been working on, that you've been creating on, is moving through your body and becoming part of your physical reality. Create that. That's a huge part of energy work. It's a huge part of manifestation. It's a huge part of bringing things back together. And I'm also wanting to talk about goalposts. Oh, there's so much that's coming up. Okay, so I'm going to be really quick. So it feels like part of what you're doing are setting some goalposts for yourself. And it's first and foremost for yourself. And it's not about what's coming in. It's more about what is it that you are going to do to step in. And so part of what I'm seeing is that you're kind of experimenting maybe over the next 2 months, and you're going to scale things down to 1 or 2 things that you're going to put focus and energy into. And every day, 4 or 5 days a week, you're going to have tasks that you're going to do that are helping to build and to promote your business and the things that you're working on. And you're going to do them regardless of whether you're seeing stuff coming back, because part of it is saying, hey, universe, I'm grounded enough that I'm building the foundation. I'm creating the foundation so that it is safe for you to send to me whatever it is that you're manifesting, whatever it is that you're creating. Show it that you're that safe and stable place, and invest the energy in that. So the other way to look at it is, what are the hours that you would be working on this business if you were doing X, Y, or Z? Then make sure that those hours, whether you're working with clients, whether you're realizing the money or not, are hours that you are taking to build and to create. Because part of what universe is looking for is they're looking to make sure that you are investing yourself. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself and doing that. And the last thing that was popping up was to create a manifestation revenue book for yourself. So when I started doing my bookkeeping, I had like an Excel spreadsheet that I would keep I'd track all of my revenues in. So I'd have like a client name, I'd have the length of time that we connected, and whether it was like reading or Reiki or whatever it was that we were doing. And I was tracking how money was coming into my business so that then I could prepare my taxes. Create a second set of however you track your revenue, your money coming in, and fill it up. So at the beginning of the month, go in and say, well, like my example would be the first week, maybe I needed 5-hour-long readings and I wanted 4 Reiki sessions and whatever, and put that into your schedule, into your manifestation, payroll, revenue tracking book, and see that money coming in. And eventually it's going to just kind of build, and you're not going to need to do that anymore, but have the system and the structure in place so that you then can create a manifestation one. And you're basically saying, hey, universe, I'm going to make sure that I have the time, the energy, and the resources to be available for this. And I'm going to make sure I have the time, energy, and resources to be available for this. And you're basically saying, universe, fill up my book. Let's take a look. We're going to go to a card for you. And we're just going to ask, what do you need to know in terms of putting energy in? And I realized that we didn't completely answer the question that you were asking. So I'm going to put it to the cards. What does Becky need to focus on in terms of her work and inviting in abundance? the treasure chest. So the message here is an unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now. So the message, the imagery tends to be around money, financial, and material. So what this card is saying is, hey, like new opportunities, new money, new balance. It's coming in, and this feels like this is coming from two different directions. One, it could be a windfall that's outside of the work that you're doing, that's just going to give you a little bit of a breather. That's going to say, hey, like all of the things that we just talked about, you can do because you've got a breather that you can rely on, and you aren't needing to hustle right now. But two, it can also be that the resources that you need to support yourself, to be creative, to allow things to happen and flow are coming into your life in an abundant way. So the expectation that I have, and it feels like possibly this is the expectation that you're shifting into, is that your needs are being provided for. So whether that's like material and financial, so we're talking about food, clothing, shelter, all of those basics, the things that you need for internet and computer and anything else that you need in order to do what you're wanting to do, what you're wanting to build and create, that you have those resources. But then on top of that, you also have the time and the energy, and you have the stress-freeness that allows you to be creative, that allows you to experience abundance, and you have the fortitude to move and to experience in an abundance mindset. So yeah, expect that things are shifting. And that, as I said, part of what I'm seeing is creating a bit of routine where you're dedicating not only to yourself, but everything that you're building and all of the people that you'll be working with in the future. And that's a really cool investment place to be in. Becky, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And I hope you pop back and let us know how things are going. Nikki says, I totally agree. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Okay, we've got Kevin here. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. What is the deeper purpose behind the grief and resistance I'm experiencing right now? And how can I move through it in a way that supports my healing and independence? Oh, I love this question. I love the energy behind the question and the depth and the compassion, the place that you're coming from. Let me just read this again. What is the deeper purpose behind the grief and resistance I'm experiencing now? So immediately I needed to take a breath. So the experience that you're going through is feeling really intense. Like it literally feels like it's taking my breath away. And it feels like, and actually I'm getting pretty emotional with it as well. It feels like, oh, now I don't like that message, but I'm going to share it anyway because it's coming up. It feels like part of it is that you are learning the capacity to which you can feel, to which you can hold, and you are being pushed to experience the depths. Earlier this evening, we spoke about compassion and how it was coming to the forefront for all of us on lots of different levels. And it feels like that's part of what's coming up. One of the things that I find, and particularly for those of us who have chosen paths where we are helping and supporting others in healing and creating, is we are showing the people that we are meant to work with in the healing we need to do for ourselves. And when we open ourselves up to feel at such a deep level as what you are feeling, it pushes us into learning compassion for ourselves, which then also allows us to offer compassion to people in general, but specifically to the people that we are working with, that we are helping, and that we are supporting. And despite the incredible discomfort, I'm wanting to celebrate the experience and the place that you are in, because what it's showing me is the depth that you will be able to go to in your role as somebody who is helping and supporting others. And it's showing the depth of space that you are able to create to hold and help and support others, which is beautiful. So when you ask what is the deeper purpose behind the grief and the resistance, that is it. Now, the other aspect that I'm seeing is I'm seeing grief. There are other emotions as well, but the focus at the moment is the grief. And part of what I'm seeing is how the grief can start to collapse in on itself, especially as we shift and move out and become a bit of an observer. So it's interesting because we are both immersed in it and yet slightly removed from it. And it feels like part of what's happening is how you are learning to help and support others is in learning the process of moving through this. The other thing that I'm kind of wanting, oh, sorry, I didn't finish that thought. Seeing the emotion and the waves that it goes through in the experience that you're in. And I might liken it to the experience of breathing in and out, or the experience of stretching your body. I'm going to use hamstrings because that's an area that's always really tight for me. The experience of taking a breath to stretch into stretching a tight muscle and then breathing, so kind of moving up and then exhaling to be able to move even more deeply. That's part of the wave that I'm seeing with the experience of the emotion that you're experiencing. So you're learning to navigate the emotion while kind of separating slightly from it. Like we have an appreciation for what it is and what is there, but it feels like you're moving into a space where you're no longer allowing it to carry you away. And this would be something that I would talk about with people who identify as being empathic or clairsentient. So clairsentient is a form of intuition. It means literally clear feeling, and it manifests both in the experience of physical sensation in the body and the experience of emotion, and often overwhelming emotion. And learning to recognize what is yours and what is not is part of what I'm wanting to talk about with this as well. So recognizing that, yes, some of the grief feels like it's definitely yours. It definitely feels like it's connected to you. But it also feels like there is additional grief that you're picking up from the people around you. And again, it's because you have such a big, beautiful, open heart that's wanting to help and support others, which is beautiful and amazing. But it also means that it's easy to experience what other people are experiencing, whether you're aware of it or not. And particularly when you are in a place of deep experiencing, of big emotion of your own, 80% of it could be yours. But because you're holding so much of it, other people's stuff can kind of glom on and create 20% of what you're experiencing. And it kind of just slips in underneath, and you don't necessarily realize you're experiencing it. I'm going to say, particularly with the way that things are in our world at the moment, there's a lot of grief that's being experienced, likely in the people around you, but definitely on a bigger global level as well. So moving through it also feels like this is learning to recognize what is yours and what is not. And for what is yours, possibly asking to experience it at a lesser degree. So one of the tools that I had to come up with, because I am clairsentient as one of the primary ways I receive messages and information, and it got to be so overwhelming that I wasn't able to function and I wasn't able to live my life. And I realized that that was a silly place to be. Like it, it doesn't make sense for me to hold on to feel and experience other people's pain to such a level that I'm not able to function and focus on my life. So not that you're completely there at this point, but it feels like it's part of the tool that you're going to be working with. So stick with me. And what I realized was, if I was so overwhelmed because I was feeling what other people were feeling, I wasn't able to do, not only was I not able to take care of myself, but I wasn't able to help and support them, which is really what I want to be doing. And so what I said was, I want to experience this just enough to recognize what it is. And I saw it as being like kind of like chocolate cake when you're on a diet. You don't need to eat the whole chocolate cake to have the experience of chocolate cake. You could eat a couple of pieces and be like, yeah, that's chocolate cake. And still have the experience of it without having the stomach ache that's going to come after eating a whole bloody chocolate cake. And so that's one of the things that I feel like you might be learning is coming to a point and a place where you can experience enough of the emotion to understand what is happening, what is going on, without being pulled into the depth of it so that it's overwhelming, so it's not allowing you to function, to help, to support, so that you can move through the healing of it. I hope that makes sense. So it feels like there are lots of different purposes to what you're feeling and what you're doing. It's healing and a clearing for yourself. I didn't mention that. So healing and clearing for yourself. It's showing you the capacity to which you can feel. It's creating, supporting an environment for creating compassion, to be compassionate with others who are going through same or similar circumstances, same kind of feeling and experience of feeling, is also showing you and helping you to create those tools and techniques that will put you in good stead when it comes to helping and supporting others, and for you just navigating life as a caring, kind, loving, and compassionate human being in a world that is still learning to value those things. Let's see, Kevin, what messages are coming up for you. We're going to the archangels, and we just want to know what does Kevin need to know about the journey that he's on. We have the claircognizance card. If any of the clairs were going to come up, I assumed it was going to be clairsentience, but claircognizance, we were talking about it just a moment before. This is Archangel Uriel, and his message, oh, there it is. His message is pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. But also Archangel Uriel helps and supports us with emotional healing. And that's why his card has come up. I mean, yes, claircognizance can be coming to the forefront. As we talked about earlier, claircognizance is one of the 4 primary ways that we receive intuitive messages and information. And literally it means clear knowing. So thoughts and ideas popping into your head. So definitely pay attention to the thoughts and the ideas that are coming up for you as you're going through this healing process. But also I'm seeing Archangel Uriel, so Uriel, coming up and helping and supporting you with navigating the grief and the emotion that you are going through. And again, it feels like much of this is to help and support you in helping and supporting others. Kevin, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And I hope you pop back and let us know how you're doing. Awesome. Where are we? Deanna, hello. Thanks for joining us. When would be the best month or specific day to travel to Ontario to see my father? He is declining and frail. I don't normally get days, but November 27th popped into my head. That's today is October the 28th. That's like 30 days from where we are. Hold on. I just brought up my calendar. The 27th is popping up as a Thursday. So I don't normally get dates, but I'm glad that you asked. So what I'm kind of hearing is sooner rather than later. It does feel like he's needing a bit of help and support, and yet I do see him already having help and support close by. So that feels good. But I feel like I want to ask for more support. So I don't know if this is like home care coming and helping, or if there's a caregiver who is living with him right now who's maybe needing some help and support and caring for him. This feels like this would be outside of what you would bring in going and visiting him. But I am hearing sooner rather than later. And again, that isn't necessarily because he's passing soon. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing more that your presence feels like it's wanted and also needed. But it feels like part of what you're doing is you're helping to make sure that he has the support and the resources that he needs, or any other caregivers have the support and resources that they need in order to be able to continue caring for him and helping. Let me just see if there's anything else. The other thing that's popping up is around flying. I want to encourage you to look at getting insurance for your flight as well. So this feels like this may have to do with the potential for cancellation or the potential for poor weather. But I'm wanting to encourage you to consider getting some form of insurance for the flight that you are taking. Oh, and they also just kind of showed me focusing more on carry-on than checked luggage. I know Deanna, and I know she lives close to me, and I know that if you're going to Ontario is going to be a real pain in the neck, because usually there's a flight out from where we live to Calgary to Toronto, or to Vancouver to Toronto. So like having checked luggage is really handy. But what I'm seeing is that you're going to want to have the majority of the things that you're taking in carry-on luggage rather than in checked luggage. Let's just take a look and see what messages are coming up for you. And I'm also hearing that it's kind of like if you have an umbrella, it doesn't rain, but if you don't have an umbrella, then it pours. So it could be the fact that you get insurance means that there aren't going to be any issues. But I'm hearing sooner rather than later, and the 27th of November is popping up because it feels like that works for pricing and schedule and the things. So the card that we have for you is the creative writing card. This one actually popped up earlier in our Choose Your Adventure crystal reading. This is Archangel Gabrielle's card, and her message is: make time to write down your thoughts in a journal, or pen an article or book. I mean, this is always a really great message, but part of what I'm wondering, and I don't know with your dad what frail means for him and where he is, but this could also be an encouragement to write down some of the stories or the experiences that he's had during the time that you have together. It may be helpful to have like a recording. It could just be on your phone, to not only record his voice, but to record the stories as well, because it feels like it's going to be something that's meaningful for you. And I see other family members as well to have that from him too. Again, I'm not seeing anything around him passing. I typically don't, but it does feel like sooner rather than later, so that you're able to be there with him during really good times. Deanna, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending lots of love and healing and support to you and to your dad and all of the people that love him as well. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's see. Tatiana, hello. It's so good to see you. We're talking tomorrow, so she's saying let's pregame. Okay, so W, apologize. Last 6 weeks talking. At first, super pursuant, now kind of chill. Seems different this time around. What's happening from September to now? Okay, so let's take a look and connect with the person that you are asking about. I've got a flip-flop that's coming up here. I feel like there's connection that's being made, but also it feels like we're kind of pulling back too. I almost feel like I'm walking across river rocks and I'm putting my foot down on one that I feel is really solid and stable. But as soon as I start to move my foot into that rock, it feels like it slides out from under me. So I'm wanting to be really cautious about how much weight you are putting into the foundation that's being built. It doesn't mean that it isn't building, but there's something that's kind of pulling me back, and it's saying we want to make sure that things are as they seem. And part of that feels like it has to do with time and energy and development. And I'm hearing making sure that you're on the same page. So part of what I'm also hearing is that this person may be telling you the things that you want to hear because you've told them already what you want to hear. And it's one of the problems. It's one of the problems that I see with a lot of women. It may happen with men as well. And I don't talk to as many men in this realm and in this way. But part of what I'm seeing is women, we're really clear about what it is that we want. And so we tell men up front really clearly what it is that they want. And we kind of give them the playbook. And then they know exactly what to tell us back because we've already told them what we want. But what they're telling us back, is not necessarily what they want, but it's what they know we want and what we want to hear. And so I'm kind of wanting to encourage some conversation that would bring forth what he's really wanting and where he truly is and what he's thinking. And part of that is giving space for that conversation to happen without jumping in, and without controlling or saying, like what it is that I want, but being in a completely receptive place to truly listen to what is being said and possibly what isn't being said. I'm kind of reminded, I don't think that this particular example fits for you, but it's the example that's popping into my head. And what I've read in circulation made a lot of sense. It was, if you're looking for a partner to settle down with, look for a man who wants to be a husband rather than wants a wife, who wants to be a father rather than wants to have kids. Because it's really significant and yet slight difference between the two. One focuses on what that person wants to have as like an accomplishment compared to what a person wants to be. So I want a wife, or I want to be a husband. I want kids, or I want to be a father. And so I'm really wanting to look at what this person wants to be to you and with you, as opposed to what he wants to have from you. Those are the messages that are coming up. Let's take a look and see what messages are coming up for you in the cards. So what does Tatiana need to know about the relationship with this person? The message that we have here is hello from heaven. So this is a mediumship card. This is loved ones on the other side letting us know that they are with us. This is Archangel Azrael, and his message is, your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. I feel like there's some additional messages that are here for you, especially since I know Tatiana. And so I feel like we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But the overall message is to know that your loved ones are okay, that they are safe. And also, Archangel Azrael helps and supports us in healing through grief, whether it's the loss of a loved one who's now on the other side or the ending of relationship, whatever grief may be. And that is, Archangel Azrael is wanting you to know that he's around helping and supporting you in healing and in any grieving that you may be doing or may have done in the past that is maybe kind of popping up to the surface. So that went a place I wasn't expecting, but I am really grateful that we're going to be talking tomorrow, because I feel like there's more that's coming up with that doesn't feel appropriate to share live on the show. So, Tatiana, I am so excited to connect with you. I'm grateful that you hopped on this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. All right. Ishika, hello. Thanks for joining us. Ishika's wondering, do you see me getting accepted into either of these universities, ISB or FMS, for my MBA in 2026? Yeah, as soon as I was reading both of those, I had a third option that was coming up. I don't know what it would be. I do see you getting acceptance letters, I'm going to say, from 3 different places. This other one, I want to call it a dark horse. So it means like it's kind of coming from out of nowhere. It's not expected, but it ends up being a really cool winner. That's usually what like the message is around dark horse. So I want to take a look to see if there's maybe somewhere else that for some reason feels like it might be out of reach, but could still be worthwhile applying to. Yeah, so it could be like a higher caliber university or institution, or it could be more expensive, or the program could be really difficult to get into, and maybe you've decided, oh no, that isn't going to happen. But I'm kind of wanting to encourage you to take a look at what this place may be, so that you can maybe put in an application for it. But yes, so let me ask about ISB and FMS. Is the FMS, even though you put it second, that was the one that was popping up for me. And I felt that one over here. So I do see that there is definitely something that's coming in from them. It feels like I want to say it's a really good offer. So I don't know if you are applying for bursary or scholarship or something along those lines, but I feel like there's one that's coming through and it's got something that's helping and supporting you in the program that you're in. So that could be financial resources, that could be accommodations for time, it could be accommodation for learning, it could be accommodation for credits that you might be bringing into your course that would apply to the training, to the MBA that you're working on, that allows you to get further ahead. But I'm really wanting to take a look at FMS. ISB does feel like it's a great option for you as well. It feels like there's opportunity there, and I do see that they offer something to you. It doesn't feel like it's as solid and strong as FMS, but again, I want to take a look because I feel like there's one more that's coming from out of nowhere that feels like it's equal to or better than the options that you have here. And I'm wanting to encourage you to push for it, to try it. Let's take a look and see what messages are coming up for you. We're going to the mermaids and dolphins, and I'm going to be quick. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you. So this first card is I'm going to do it for FMS, even though it was the second one. This one is for ISB, and this one is for that dark horse that I saw coming up. So FMS, yes, is the message that comes up for you. Your intuition is correct. Take action accordingly. So whatever it is that you feel about FMS is correct. As I said, what I'm seeing that it's a really great opportunity for you, and it feels like there's some sort of bonus or benefit that they're able to offer to you. So again, take a look at finances, so like bursary or scholarship, that there are credits that maybe you're able to carry forward. That means that you are needing to take fewer courses, but it feels like there's some sort of benefit. ISB is rest. This card says, hey, you've been working really hard. Take a nap and get some rest. So there is less energy that's coming up with this. This rest card can also mean that there's something that's still coming to the forefront that you haven't seen yet. So this could even be that for some reason an offer doesn't come through immediately, but then possibly closer to the time that things would start, oh, there is actually an opening. I feel at that point you've probably already made a decision in another direction, but I do see that there is an acceptance for an offer that's coming from ISB. And then the dark, that is such an interesting message. So this was for the dark horse, and the dark horse is self-employment. You're a born entrepreneur and your business is surrounded by magical opportunities. This says to me that there might be a different way, either that you're getting your MBA, or that somehow there's money that's coming from the work that you're doing that's going to allow you to do something separate. That is such an interesting message. But I want to encourage you to take a look at self-employment types of opportunities, particularly outside of this. That is such an interesting message. Yeah. So what I would say overall is, yes, you are receiving offers from both of the places that you have mentioned. There may be another one that you can look at that's going to open up some really interesting opportunities for you in the long run, particularly if you are wanting to explore self-employment or be in a position where you are really self-guided. So possibly working in a bigger overall structure, but that you have a lot of freedom and flexibility to choose the work or the projects that you're wanting to take on. But yeah, that dark horse is really interesting. And I really want to encourage you to explore what that could be. Ishika, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support, and I hope you pop back and let us know how it's going. All right, Melissa, hello. Thanks for joining us. I think I'm going through a spiritual awakening, and it's so exciting. It is. Congratulations. I had to change my diet and have so much energy. That's amazing. What did the angels say about music? Do it. Okay, let's take a look. What do angels say about music? I feel like you're already involved in music, and I'm wanting to explore more music. I noticed that as soon as I'm talking about that with you, my hands are down on my knees, and they're kind of like doing like a drum beat kind of thing, which isn't my usual. So in addition to music, I'm really wanting to involve movement. So I'm wanting to involve moving around, possibly dancing, um, but also singing is really coming to the forefront. I want to encourage you to sing. I want to use for you to use your voice. They're showing me instruments too, but I'm really wanting to focus on voice. I'm really wanting to focus on voice from my solar plexus. So I want to encourage you to focus on breathing and expressing and creating. There's also something else that you're bringing to life as well. And now I know Melissa, and I know one of the things that she does is pottery, and I feel like there's still some pottery that's in here. And I'm wanting to ask about breath and pottery. I don't know if there's a connection with that, but there's something that you're like blowing into, which I realize sounds more like glass, but this feels like you're blowing into something. I don't know how that would work, but it feels like it's tying into music. And again, use your voice, please. I'm also hearing the music for manifesting card. We'll see if it pops up because I've chosen the deck that it's in. But I'm kind of wanting to, I'm wanting to invite music in. I'm wanting to sing where I am. I want to sing and create music about what I'm doing, about what I'm wanting to experience, about what I'm wanting to create. And it feels like we're bringing music into every area of your life. Music helps to raise our energy and our vibration. Oh my gosh, Melissa, there are so many things that are popping up for you. It feels like it's difficult to focus on just one. Okay, the divine magic card. So hold on, we have to pick another card when the divine magic card comes up because it amplifies the message of the ones around it. We've got the alchemy card. So I'm going to go to alchemy card first. We talked about this a little bit earlier. So if you weren't with us at the beginning, about 15 minutes into the live stream, pop back after we finish because it did come up. I think it was the second card. You have the Midas touch right now, and every project you begin turns to gold. So whatever it is that you're passionate about right now, whatever it is that you're wanting to embrace and to create, now is the time, because you have this Midas touch where you can take things that may not seem to have value, though music has a lot of value, and you can create it into something that has significant value and meaning for you. So follow your passion with it. And then the divine magic card comes up and it amplifies the messages of all of the cards around it. Extra magical energy surrounds your situation right now. Expect miracles. So we're expecting things to shift and to happen. So with that, I do feel like there are other people that you will be working with music. I hesitate to say band. It feels like that could be part of it, but I also see kind of this like flowing between several people potentially or several groups. And so I almost feel like you're doing your thing and being like a guest. But yeah, it feels like there's lots of opportunity here, and I'm super excited about what you're doing. So yes, 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 yes. Keep going. Melissa, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and so much big hugs, lots of love, so much support your way. Oh man, you know it's getting late when I'm tripping over my tongue like this. Elisa, hello. Thank you for joining us. Elisa says, I've been dealing with some shoulder issues for quite some time now and have been trying acupuncture, but have found it quite painful. Do you see this being something I should continue? I've been contemplating taking some serious time off to give my shoulder proper time to heal, but I'm worried about the financial ramifications of doing that. Do you think that's something I should go forward with? Thank you and bless you. Thank you and bless you back too. Alicia, I don't know if we've spoken before, but your name feels really familiar. The first thing that popped up as soon as you mentioned shoulder issues, was to have a check and see where your hormones are, particularly if you're past your mid 30s or in your mid 30s, just because that's one of the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. And part of the pain could be a hormonal issue. So if you have access to a family doctor who is knowledgeable, about hormones, especially with relation to perimenopause and menopause, awesome. A lot of them don't have training in that. So it might be something you want to ask or to look at other options outside, or even to talk to your acupuncturist as well, because it's something that isn't on everybody's radar from a healthcare point of view. Definitely a naturopath should be able to help and support you if that's where you are. So that was the first thing that kind of popped up for me was I want to make sure that you're not in perimenopause or menopause, and that that's part of what's contributing to the pain and the challenge that you're experiencing. Moving forward beyond that, let's take a look. Um, yeah, that feels incredibly painful. And it also feels painful from the point of view of like just finding a comfortable place. Like it feels like it's not only when you're doing things, but it also feels like when you're at rest. And as soon as pain is interfering with rest, it's interfering with everything, because it's interfering with sleep, which is interfering with ability to manage like um, stress and everything else. So as soon as we get into that point, we definitely need to focus on getting better. um I am seeing something with acupuncture being helpful. Now, part of what I'm wondering is if you can have a conversation with your acupuncturist and ask if there's a way to do half of what they're doing, because it feels like part of it is that you're really sensitive to the adjustments that are being made. And it feels like in this instance, it may be a case of less being more. And so rather than, give me everything you've got, let's kind of take it back a bit and see if that creates less challenge in your body, particularly if you've been working with somebody for quite a while and maybe weren't seeing the results that you or they were hoping to see. Sometimes we can kind of double down on what we've been doing, because it's like if this hasn't been working, then more will help. So I kind of want to ease back in the intensity in the sessions and see if that has benefit and help for you. Looking at the rest of the questions and the overall message that we have coming up. So, like, what about the ramifications of taking some time off work? First and foremost, it does feel like you are in a position where you could take medical leave of some sort that would allow you to maintain your job, so that after a period of time you would be able to go back. I'm kind of flip-flopping as to whether or not there's financial support that's available during that time. Um, so I do feel the stress and the pressure of, am I going to have what I need from a financial perspective in order to carry forward? Um, so they're kind of again showing me, well, is it possible to cut down what you're doing so that you still have something coming in, but that you're cutting down the intensity of what you're doing to support this? And that actually feels like that's kind of an overall message. If you're able to cut down the intensity of things that you're doing, and kind of recognizing that the capacity that you have right now isn't your usual full capacity, that maybe instead of having 100% capacity, maybe you're down to 75 or 60% capacity, but you're still working at 100% capacity. And the sense that I have is that as we kind of shift and we honor the fact that, hey, like I just don't have as much to give as I usually give, or as I usually have, that as you honor that and you kind of trim down what you're doing, it feels like it's helping to create some rest in the shoulder, which is allowing all of the other work that you're doing the opportunity to come to the forefront. In an ideal world, part of what I'm seeing is something that feels like it's a leave that's kind of 6 to 8 weeks long. If it's needed, then it feels like you, after 2 or 3 weeks, are possibly going back at a reduced rate until you kind of pick back up to where you were. It feels like that helps in the interim to kind of get this back into a good place. But I feel like there's a little bit more to the injury and to the pain itself. And it feels like there's more that it's wanting to say. I'm kind of wanting to, again, go back into honoring your body, because it feels like it's trying to talk to you and it's asking you to do something. So when our body gets loud, and with pain is one of the easiest ways for our body to get loud, to get our attention. It's usually because there's something that we're not focusing on. Work does feel like it's part of it, but I also see that there's something in personal life that's kind of popping up too. And as soon as I say that, I hear that you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. So in addition to looking at, okay, are there ways or are there places that I can cut back with work? I also want to do exactly the same with responsibilities and obligations that you may have at home, in family, or in other areas of personal life. Are there things that you can take off your plate? The helpful person card that came up and the choose your adventure card reading is part of what's coming up for me right now as well. So asking where there's help and support that might be available to you to take some of that pressure off. And part of what I'm hearing is you don't need to do it all on your own, and that the things that you're responsible for, they're going to be waiting for you, whether you do them today or tomorrow, they'll still be there, which on the one hand, it's meant to be a comforting thought. But on the other hand, also feels like it's a bit of a drag, because it's like, still going to be there. It's just like dirty laundry. I feel like there's something more that we need to talk about with this. Because I'm going into my heart and my chest. So this feels like it's coming up from a couple of different perspectives. I feel like I've got some grief and some hurt and some heaviness on my heart. In our culture, we think of grief typically as being connected to a loved one having crossed over or having passed. And that may be where this is coming from. But grief also exists with other forms of loss as well, with the ending or change in relationships, with change in home and family dynamics. I mean, there's so many different ways that we experience loss that in our culture and society, we just don't recognize. And as a result, it means that we don't allow ourselves to grieve for this thing that we've been building, either on our own or with other people. And so I'm wanting to kind of explore grief, because I'm feeling some grief coming up, and also a bit of anxiety as well. And anxiety can also be an indicator that, hey, like, we've got a lot on our plate and it's important to slow down. So if you are able, I want to encourage you to take some time off. Let me just double check the financial ramifications. You know what? In the long run, the financial ramifications feel like they're really short-lived. So it feels like it has more to do with the discomfort during and slightly after, until you're back up at your regular salary. That feels like that's the biggest discomfort. Again, part of what I'm seeing is 6 to 8 weeks. But I do see you having resources available to you. So this may be in the form of savings. This may be in the form of some form of government or employer support or insurance or something. So I do see that there is some support that's coming in that does help to offset this. And again, I'm wanting to take a look at medical benefits that may be available to you to help to support with that. But I do feel like there is some financial support that's maybe not the entirety of your salary, but pretty close to support you, particularly if we're looking at 2 or 3 weeks off and then a gradual return back. But it feels like there's some deep work that you're able to do during that time. Elisa, let's just pull a card for you and see what messages are coming up. I'm just going to ask, we've got 2 cards. I'm going to ask what you need to know from a financial point of view and what you need to know from a healing point of view. So financial, the This is interesting. So the card we have here is clairaudience. We've spoken about clairsentience and claircognizance this evening. Clairaudience is another one of the four primary ways we receive intuitive messages and information, and it means literally clear hearing. So paying attention to the messages that pop into your head from an audio perspective. Usually when I get clairaudient messages, it comes to me in the form of song lyrics. And if you've been with us since kind of partway through when we started doing messages, there was a song and a dance that came up as one of the clairaudient messages. The other way it can pop in is turning on the radio. And so it's something we don't have any control over. And the song that comes on speaks to something that you've been thinking about, or it speaks to you, or picking up on somebody's, or like overhearing somebody's conversation. There are lots of different ways that clairaudience manifests. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people. So this card was specifically around money and finances. So pay attention to what you're hearing about money and finances. And this can go in a couple of different directions. This could be, I'm hearing a lot about how the economy is doing really poor, and maybe we've got lots of tariffs, and like this is a terrible time. So we could like pay attention to what you're hearing and ask yourself, is this something that deals directly with me? Or is this like fear of things that are happening around me that's kind of putting additional fear that maybe isn't warranted for me in this situation? Or are you maybe hearing things like, yeah, it's time to break free and there's freedom and financial security and stability? So pay attention to the things that you are hearing. And also, clairaudience manifests as the voice that we often will hear in our head. It can be your own internal voice, or it can be a voice that comes from outside of you. One of the big things to recognize is there will always be support that comes with the voice. So even if it's a message that we don't want to hear, it's going to come with the feeling or the encouragement that we can do this, even if it's not what we want to hear. So pay attention to what you're hearing, particularly around money and finances. And maybe over the next little while, focus on listening to things around money and abundance and manifestation, and see how it shifts your perception of money and what is available to you. So then the card that we chose around healing, that makes a lot of sense, is the Clear Your Space card. This is Archangel Jophiel. Get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use Feng Shui. When this card comes up, it's saying that we're holding on to a lot of stuff that we no longer need to hold on to, whether it's physical stuff that's cluttering our physical space, whether it's mental or emotional stuff that we're holding on to that's then kind of manifesting itself in our bodies. It's time to clear things out. It could have to do with old patterns that we're holding on to that no longer serve us and support us, relationships that we're holding on to that no longer serve and support us. So take a look at all aspects and areas of your life from this healing, especially since it sounds like you've been really dedicated to resolving and to healing your shoulder, and that it's continuing to persist. Because from an energetic perspective, this is your body's way of trying to get your attention. And if you're not kind of resolving the underlying issues, then it's going to continue to yell at you to get your attention. So take a look at the broader perspective. What is this shoulder trying to tell you? I'm going to wrap up with you in just a moment, but I'm going to share kind of a personal story. About 10 years ago, I was in my mid-30s, and I was having a terrible time with my period. I had my period basically every day for 2 years. And it wasn't just a little period. It was like full on floods. So I'm sorry guys for the TMI. But it was huge. At one point, my gynecologist looked at me. I had come into her office and she's like, Erin, I don't know how you're standing in front of me, because I was just losing so much blood. It was crazy. And I felt like my body had completely rebelled against me. Like we were like this, and I'm like, you know what, I just want to work with you so that we can like live and be peaceful and be happy. and I checked in with my uterus, and I started asking my uterus, because that was where the challenges were, what it wanted and what it needed. And I was absolutely shocked. It was saying that my body was cold. Now, you have to understand that I'm a person who always runs hot. I am always the hottest person in the room. Summer is brutal for me because I don't get cool. I'm always hot. So for my body to say, you know what, I'm cold. I want you to start wearing socks and wear a scarf. I hate the feeling of scarves, but that's what my body was telling me. And that's what I started doing. I bought a whole pile of scarves and things that were up close to my neck that generally feel really uncomfortable for me, but that was what my body needed. And eventually we did come back into balance, but I was shocked at what it told me. So I want to encourage you to talk to your shoulder and say, hey, I hear you. So recognize that it's loud because it's trying to get your attention. I hear you. What do you want me to know? And actually, that's going back to that clairaudience message as well. Listen. So it may come in the form of words. It could be in the form of thoughts and ideas. It could be something visual that flashes in your mind's eye or around you. Or it could be like a physical sensation or emotion that pops up for you, but your body is saying, hey, like, pay attention. So give it what it wants and see what it has to say. Elisa, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, healing, and support your way. My friends, we have gone over our time this evening. I'm so grateful that you popped on and you joined me. It's always a pleasure for me to be able to connect with you in this way. And I'm truly grateful for the time that you've taken out of your day to be here with me. My apologies to the people that we didn't get to this evening. I know all of the questions came in within a couple of minutes and we're about an hour and a half past when the questions were coming in. So my apologies. I am planning on coming back next week. So again, 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. Eastern time, right here. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com. This QR code here that's been hanging out on the screen with us the whole time. Again, like techie is not always my forte, but hop over to my website, heavenlymessenger.com, and sign up for one or both of the emails. The first one on the page is so that you receive notification and the links on YouTube and Facebook for next week's Connection with Intention. And then the second one is from the season's blessings point of view. So really quickly, I'll mention again what it is. For the past 10 years or so, I mail out season's blessings cards or Christmas cards, and I include in with them postcards that have inspirational kind of images and messages for the coming year. This is the second year actually in the last 10 or so years that I am not going to be able to send them out. There are a variety of reasons, including unpredictability with Canada Post and other things. And so what I'm doing instead is I'm going to send out an email that has not only some images that you can print off that you can use for your physical or digital affirmation boards or manifestation boards for 2026. That's how a lot of people use them. But I also include a discount for readings in December and January and gift certificates purchased during that time. But because I'm not sending something out, I want to do something more. And I hope that when you sign up for the email to receive that notification, that you'll also choose to let me know what you would like to receive. Some of the ideas that I have would be like maybe some self-guided meditations. Maybe we hop on Zoom together on a day in December or January, more likely January, and we do some sort of meditation together. Or maybe we do an exercise where together we're honoring and recognizing 2025, and we're clearing and welcoming in 2026 while at the same time setting some intention and manifestation. It's something that I love doing for myself personally every year, and I would love to do that with you guys. Maybe there are meditations, or maybe you guys want to do like an intuitive development class, or maybe you want to do something like this, only bigger. I have no idea. I've got a couple of ideas. Maybe you want some journaling prompts that help you to connect with your intuition. So I hope that you'll let me know if you sign up for the season's blessings, what you would like to receive. And I'll choose a couple of them and we'll do it. But it's, for me, a small way that I can give back to you. I see the season, the holiday season in the winter around Christmas and solstice as being a time of sharing the abundance that we have. And I would love to be able to share that abundance with you. So please let me know what you would be interested in receiving, because I would so love to be able to share that with you. And hopefully next year it will work out to send things out in the physical world again, because I so love being able to share those with you. I am Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com. I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined me this evening. I'm planning on coming back next Tuesday. In the meantime, if you'd like to connect for a personal reading, hop over to my website, bookingwitherin.com. That's booking with Erin, spelled ERIN.com. And choose the date and time and reading link that works best for you, because I'd love to connect with you. I am sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and I look forward to connecting with you again in the future. Bye.